Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining the community listening session for the replacement school for Urban Park Elementary School. We're so excited to have everyone joining us this evening. If you're joining us you'll be able to participate in several different ways for this evening's meeting. If you're joining us on this particular Zoom call, you'll be able to participate by asking questions and sharing your thoughts in the chat room, in the chat box. There'll also be opportunity for you to unmute it and to ask your question directly. If you're joining us on Facebook, you'll be able to simply ask. We encourage you to ask your questions, give your comments as comments on our Facebook posts. And I'm going to pause now for our interpreter to everyone know how they may participate in Spanish. Go ahead. Thank you so much. And again, welcome to tonight's meeting about the new Urban Park Elementary School. This project is made possible through the support shown by Bond 2020 program, which happens to be the largest bond program in the history of the state of Texas. We're going to begin tonight with greetings from the wonderful and amazing principal for this great school. Go ahead, Principal Falcon.
Hello and good evening, everybody. I'm very excited for you to see these plans because just like Ms. Bell said, this is an amazing project and we are very blessed by Bond 2020 and the great architects that are working with us and the support of our board and district. We're very, very excited. So thank you for everybody being here tonight.
Thank you again. And thank you so much for all the work you do every day to educate our children and to be there for our families and our community. You guys are doing a wonderful job on all of our campuses during very difficult times and difficult circumstances. So kudos to you and to your amazing staff. This school happens to be a part of a district led by our former board president, Trustee Justin Henry. Justin Henry is no stranger and is committed to education and supporting quality public education, not just in his district, but across Dallas ISD. Trustee Henry, would you like to bring remarks at this time? You're on mute, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Bell, for that kind introduction. And I want to thank Principal Falcon for her leadership on the campus. Again, we're very excited about this opportunity to kind of re-envision and pay homage to the roots of Urban Park Elementary School. So looking forward to this meeting and learning more. Thank you for the architects and the design, and my daughter, of course, couldn't listen out here. But that are going to work alongside the community to make sure that we make this a fantastic school inside and out. We already know it's great things happening within the campus. We would love to see the updates to the campus to reflect the great things happening inside.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Miss Henry, for joining us for today's meeting as well. Everything that we do, of course, is for our learners. And we're so proud to have you to be a part of Dallas ISD as well. And thank you, Trustee Henry, for all that you do on the leadership side as a part of the Board of Trustees. Now, again, I mentioned that Bond 2020 is the largest bond in the history of the state of Texas. And leading this great effort, which includes 15 replacements, campuses, and renovations to all of our campuses, is none other than our Deputy Chief of Bond and Construction Services, Brent Alfred. Mr. Alfred, take it away.
Hey, thank you, Ms. Bell. Yeah, and Happy New Year to everybody in the Urban Park community. Me and Ms. Bell are starting these meetings again, and you guys have the honor of being our first one for 2022. This bond is really about community interaction and feedback. So as we go through this process, please don't be shy to give us feedback of what you like and don't like. We've got a talented group of architects and PMs working on this, but we really need you to be partner with us on this and take ownership of the process. So we're going to be listening to feedback. I'm going to go ahead and pitch it over to my architect. We've got Glenn Partners. I believe Patrick or Aaron will lead this presentation. At the end, we're going to come back and tell you about some next steps. But without further ado, Aaron.
Jessica, Aaron, I'm not sure who's actually going to make the presentation. if you could go off mute at this time.
Looks like Aaron's having a little difficulty with his mic. Nope, can't hear you, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, now go.
Can you hear us now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, so thank you, Brent. We have pretty much a two-part presentation here tonight. The first part will be a recap of our first community meeting, and then also kind of recapping the community survey results that we sent out digitally. So Jessica will be walking through that, and then after that, we're really excited to get to present where we are currently in the schematic design phase. So we'll be able to walk through the site plan, the building concept, the floor plans, and then some of the images of what the building will look like on the exterior, at least where we are right now. So I'll pass it off to Jessica to start the first part of our recap from last time.
Well, I would also like to say good evening to everybody, and we appreciate everyone taking time out of their busy evenings to join us. Lead slide is not advancing now. Okay. All right. As Erin said, we're going to review our word association and activity recap, our large group discussion recap, and our community survey. Items 1 and 2 were done at our last community session, similar to this. And knowing that everybody would be able to join the online session for the community, we sent out a survey, and we'll also be reviewing those.
Is it advancing on yours?
It is advancing on
Not
mine.
advancing on ours. For some reason.
We apologize. We're having a little bit of technical glitches right now.
Yeah, sorry. For some reason, the slide is not advancing. We'll get it figured out.
Okay.
There you go. Now it's on one.
But it's not. Moving.
It's just stuck on one for me.
I think I can go ahead and let me see if I can share this, if I can try to share my screen while you guys get that figured out. And you can just move into advance.
So it won't advance when I'm on this, and it won't. Here, you're seeing this, but it's not letting me advance either direction. So when I go up to window and I go on presentation, then I can advance, but you guys aren't.
Okay, guys, I think I can advance in the PowerPoint that you sent me. Let me try to do that for you.
We can try it that way. Thank you, Jessica.
Absolutely.
Okay, can everyone see that now?
Yes, we can see it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. Let me try to do it.
My apologies.
No problem. There we go.
Technology is hard. Okay.
Yes,
So
it is.
Items 1 and 2 happened in our community meeting last time. Item 3 was a survey that went out, knowing that not everybody would be able to make the time to join our virtual community session. So with that, if you'd like to advance, please.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and again.
Okay, there we go.
So if you were part of the community session last time, you'll remember that we gave you this page of words and then asked the community 4 different questions. Those 4 questions were: which words come to mind when you think of Urban Park Elementary? What's your favorite part of the campus, either present or in the past? When you think of 21st century learning, what words help reinforce that? And what is the Panther mascot most symbolic of? Please advance. So these next couple of slides are going to show which words were highlighted the most. So we've got active, engaging, future thinking, and innovative, and a hub for community.
Jacqueline, is there a way to make it full screen on the viewing mode? Sorry.
Perfect.
There you go. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. So active, engaging, future thinking, hub for community, and innovative were the most common words associated with what you think of Urban Park. Next. For your favorite part of the campus, either past or present, was community, culture, families, the library, open play space, and open areas. Next. What comes to mind when you think of a 21st century school? Colorful, engaging, technology, outside learning, and makerspace. Next, please. And what is the Panther mascot symbolic of? Pride, fast, fierce, strength, and agile were all adjectives that people used to describe the Panther. Then we went on to our large group discussion, and then we asked four big questions. You can advance, please. Related to campus and school operation, what currently works well? The community responded with the increased technology, the state-of-the-art makerspace, the family atmosphere, and communications with parents and staff were great. So then we asked the opposite. What currently does not work well or is missing from the campus? A lack of shade and rain protection for student drop-off and pickup. Student drop-off and pickup is spread out with too many different locations. There is currently a lack of parking, lack of shade, existing building is too spread out, issues with the current HVAC, lack of secure vestibule, existing floors are uneven and appears unsafe, lack of functioning toilets and water fountains. Question 3, while keeping a focus on student learning, what are the potential operational enhancements you'd like to see? Additional 21st century interactive learning tools, additional integrated technology, student collaboration spaces, maker spaces for more enhanced learning, shaded structure for the playground, storm shelter for student safety, and professional learning or resource rooms for parents. And question 4, and maybe the most important, is how will we define success for this project? And the community responded with, to ensure that all students have the best resources and proper academic learning environment, promotion of family and community, integration of parent engagement activities, parent outreach center, enhanced makerspace, increasing the digital learning in pre-K, and one that we added ourselves was being on time and on budget. Next slide, please. Okay, so our community survey results were distributed to parents, students, faculty and staff, and alumni. And next slide. And you'll see on this next slide, or the slide after that, that we had 276 responses from teachers and students. And we had an outstanding response from the student body, thanks to Ms. Falcon and her staff making sure that the students were able to participate. Since we're designing the school for the students, having their input is most important. And creating an environment where students want to go to learn, I feel like trying to get them to school is usually, as a parent, is at least half the battle. So, next slide. So some of our questions. The new Urban Park Elementary School should be focused on, and choose all that apply, academic engagement, outdoor learning, safety and security, and technology were overwhelmingly the largest responses. Next. When you think of 21st century learning, which words come to mind that might help reinforce our planning and design? And you'll start to see a lot of overlap in the vocabulary used. Diversity of learning spaces, flexible spaces, high-tech and technology-driven spaces, outdoor learning, and safe and secure. Sustainable goals for the new Urban Park Elementary School should include, and again, choose all that apply, daylight and views, energy savings, healthy building materials, sustainable education for students, and water efficiency were all highly ranked. So the next set of questions start to put images together with the words. On this slide, my definition of modern might be different than somebody else's, so the photos help communicate what we intend the words to be. So you'll notice in this one, for the feel of the new school, colorful modern spaces with usable outdoor environments were chosen most. Between the architectural design, materials, and color, we've got large open spaces, modern design, inviting spaces were chosen more often.
Also, the nice use of color there was something to be noted.
For our outdoor learning spaces, large open spaces with trees were chosen over spaces that had no trees. Next, please. On these next two slides, you'll see the images chosen gravitated towards energetic and bright spaces with pops of color. The next two slides talk about interior transparency, and you'll notice as we progress to the slides that were chosen, large interrupted expanses of glass were chosen over broken up and smaller pieces of glazing. For our collaboration spaces, colorful and energizing spaces that had a variety of configurations were chosen most, where the space and furniture were more flexible, allowing for comfortable spaces of 1, 2, and 3 people, 5 or 6 students, whole classes, or whole grades. So variety and flexibility were our big takeaways from the student collaboration spaces. For flexible learning spaces, many chose the same type of images as the student collaboration spaces. So that again goes to the flexibility of spaces, whether it's collaboration or flexible learning. For the student-centered furniture, soft upholstered furniture was chosen most as spaces, as well as the spaces that were least crowded. Our technology-enabled learning spaces, when technology was either integrated into the furniture as desks, tech bars, or into the walls, were most commonly chosen. Next, generational libraries and makerspace. Again, colorful and open spaces with soft seating were chosen over the other photos. And with school branding and student engagement, images with more subtle branding was chosen over more in-your-face or inspirational mascot images. So the results of all of our community meetings and community input really influenced our project goals and our guiding principles. So those 5 big goals and principles are to create dedicated community space, improve site safety and building security, implement planning and design solutions that create collaborative learning space and flexibility, build in visible ways, allowing the building to be a teaching tool, honor and celebrate the school campus and identity. I think Aaron is going to show you now exactly how we try to implement all those goals.
Yes, thanks, Jessica. So here's where we kind of jump into where we currently stand in terms of the design. So if you can go to the next slide. When we start the design of the project, the first step is what Jessica just walked you through. We need to gather all the information from the users, the community, the teachers, principals, and administration. Once we gather all that information, then it's kind of up to us to kind of go to the drawing board. And we typically start by coming up with a design concept. In this case, it seemed fairly obvious that using the school namesake could be an exciting way to develop the planning and the architecture of the school. So this is our diagram, and this isn't what the building looks like on this page, but it's a diagram to show that what we're trying to do is create a great connection from indoor and outdoor space, but also creating this true architectural urban park where you have the more dense programs, which would be like classrooms, gymnasiums, cafeterias, other specialty academic spaces. And in between that, it's these moments of surprise or discovery that could be exciting for a young child moving through the campus on a day-to-day basis. So that's the diagram we're trying to create, almost like a central park, or if you're walking through a downtown and you stumble across an urban park. That's what we're trying to create in terms of what the building looks like. So if you want to go to the next slide, please. This is a slide that helps us gather some of the information or some of the images that you all have seen and selected as desirable for the new school. But for us, I think the trend that we're seeing is that there's a great connection of indoor and outdoor spaces and a lot of or connectivity and a lot of the images that were chosen in the community survey results. And you'll see that really in all of these big open media center type spaces where the children can move around. There's a lot of flexibility, but also that connection to the green and connection to the outdoors. And that's what we were really trying to harp on when we started the design of this project. You can go to the next, please. So now we'll jump into what the site plan and the floor plans are actually looking like, if you want to go to the next. So this is the existing site for those of you who are not familiar or haven't seen it for a while, but the existing school is on the plan right side of the site. And then the large green field on the left, that's pretty much our buildable area. So we'll have to fit our approximately 70,000 square foot new elementary school on the left side of that site where the open green is, yeah, right there. And if you can go to the next slide, please. So this slide is a good indicator of how big our school is, where it's going on the left side of the site. But the red dashed line shows you the existing school. And our strategy will be that that is an operational school while we're building the new school. So we'll build the building on the left. Once that's operational, we'll get rid of the dashed line, the footprint of the old, and then we can continue to develop and build the rest of the site. And I'll walk you through the site in the next few slides. You can go to the next, please. So here's the site as it stands right now, which is a few weeks away from the end of our schematic design phase. But we have the building on the left. You can see the major drop-off points are split on the north, the south, and the west of the site. But the main drop-off is right off of Military Parkway. So you'll come in, you'll be able to have drop-off there, visitor parking, staff parking, and then split to the north side of the site is additional parking and drop-off for staff. And then on the left side of the site, there's even additional queuing that could be just off the street. So where there was very, very little queuing in the existing site plan, we're trying to alleviate some of the queuing on the street. So I think what we've provided here is adequate queuing distance. Another thing to point out here is that middle field area will be kind of a nice soccer play field area, playground, basketball court that's adjacent to where we have the gymnasium planned. So all of the adjacencies of where kids are moving back and forth are all working really well. And another thing you'll see here is some of the courtyards that are kind of sprinkled through the middle of our actual building. And we'll get into that as we talk about the plan. You can go to the next, please. So these diagrams show how, at this point, we're proposing the vehicular traffic to work. So this, the violet color is meant to indicate visitor traffic. So there's visitor access from Military Parkway. There's visitor access from Tollin Street to the north. And then you see that number 1, that's where our main entry of the school is. If you go to the next. So the pink color is indicating parent drop-off. So we're suggesting that the primary parent drop-off is right there off of Military Parkway, where we have 2 lanes of queuing and then a drive-through pass lane. And then on the left side of the site, off of Wilkes Avenue, there's a smaller, I guess, drop-off. We're kind of still working through the details of this one, but we're just trying to find ways for parents to have multiple spots for queuing and drop-off to keep people off the street, really. And then if you go to the next slide, I know currently there were not a lot of buses that are busing to and from the site, but this is where we're suggesting that those buses would drop off. I believe the last time we talked, there was only 1 bus, but obviously in the future there may be more. So that's the area for bus drop-off. And then if you can go to the next. So here's where we jump into a little bit more detail of the actual floor plan. So this is a 2-story elementary school. And on the left, if I can walk you through how these spaces are working, the bar on the right side, well, I guess I should say the level 1 floor plan on the left side, there's pretty much a public bar. You'll see the way we color code these programs is that the lighter blue is community space or more public space. The yellow color is central administration. The lighter pink color that you're seeing sprinkled through the middle, that's all of our shared academic space. So that will be the music, the art, the special education, and the science. And then on the far left of the plan, the darker red or darker pink, that's really your core academic classroom. So you have pre-K, kindergarten, first grade on the lower level. And then on the upper level, you'll have second, third, fourth, and fifth, with the science classroom sprinkled right through the middle. I think the thing that we're the most excited about on this plan, the way we're laying it out, is all the green spaces that you're seeing. And that ties back to the concept of the urban park. So yes, you have all of these dense classrooms and classroom neighborhoods with fairly rigid circulation or corridors, but you have these moments of discovery, these outdoor learning areas that act as your additional collaboration space. All of those are kind of tied in some way around the media center, or if you look at the level 1 plan on your left, you can see a large outdoor learning and green space. And that's an actual protected courtyard for kids to be able to spill outside in the middle of the day, completely secure, completely protected from the surroundings. And it also kind of has 2 purposes. It also lets even more natural daylight into that building. So I think the way the plan is working right now allows for a lot of great public space, and how it connects to the private space is working really well. And if you can move to the next slide, please. So this section is where we get into really what the building is looking like from the exterior. And if you'll remember some of the images that you all selected in the community survey results, there were a lot of great buildings that had nice color on the outside and the inside. Great projects that had outdoor courtyards that were really interactive, flexible, and dynamic. And so we went back and we picked even more images that we thought reflected the results of the survey, but also reinforced the concept that we were talking about with this idea of the urban park. So you'll see a lot of green, you'll see a lot of indoor spaces connecting directly to the outdoor, but just light and transparent and open. We feel that allows for a dynamic environment that can really inspire young kids to learn. So you can go to the next. So this is a zoomed out view as if you're kind of flying an airplane over the site. You get to see the main drop off up of Military Parkway, and then this kind of park environment where you're seeing the soccer field, the playground, and the basketball court if you kind of squint your eyes. But then our building obviously is at the far end. It's shown with kind of the darker brick, but also you're seeing some colors. And if you go to the next slide, we'll zoom in a little bit more. It's easier to see. So from here, we have a few images that we can walk you around the school and talk about some of the thoughts that are going on early in schematic design. But this shows pretty much the main entry elevation of the building. So what you're seeing, the larger brick box on the bottom left of the image, that's the gymnasium. And in this case, this will also act as a storm shelter. And then as you bridge across, there's you see some more glassy elements that are under a canopy. That's the main entry. So I think it does a good job of saying this is the front door, and it's a welcoming move to get into this urban park environment. But the administration is tucked under that public bar. The cafeteria is tucked under that bar, all with great visibility out to the park and the play areas. If you can go to the next. So this view flips you all the way to the other side on Wilkes Avenue, the corner of Wilkes and Military Parkway. And this is where you get to see some of those outdoor learning spaces, but also how we're starting to think about using some different colors to make this very playful and fun for an elementary school level. But I think the exciting thing for the kids that are going to go here is the amount of flexible space and outdoor space that can be utilized on the day-to-day basis. You get a little bit of a peek into the central protected courtyard that I was talking about, that Jacqueline's highlighting right there. And then if you want to go to the next, please, Jacqueline. So this zooms back around to the other side. So you're seeing, whereas the other image you were looking at the gym side, you're now looking at this brick box on the far right of the image. That's the kitchen or service area of the site. You can see a dumpster enclosure and service area where we'll have the chillers that will heat and cool the building. But you're also getting to see those marching color blocks. That's all that shared academic space where all the core academic kids can kind of come into the center of the building. And it's a little bit more public. It's that kind of mixing zone from public to private. And also in this front image, it's a little bit hard to see, but we're still exploring the idea. There's a little medallion, I guess, right in front of the main entry. And it's hard to see in this view, but for those of you who know the existing school, there's cast stone that's still used from the Peacock Military Academy days. So what we're hoping and suggesting is that we can still save some of the historic pieces of that building and utilize them in the landscape. But some of that development is still ongoing as we get started working with our landscape designers and whatnot. Go ahead and go to the next, please. This is a straight-on view of that main entry elevation, and you can kind of see that peacock medallion in the center there that I'm talking about. If you can go to the next. And this is a nice view, just the ground level. You get to see the people in the front, just so you get a sense of the scale of the building. I think this is a really nice, welcoming entry. And by way of putting the storm shelter, a solid piece of program on one side, and then the kitchen on the other, it allows this middle piece to free up has a little bit more glass, so everybody knows where the entry is, but also it's great for administration to be able to see out. So again, back to the security concerns that were voiced in the community survey. If you can go to the next, please. This is a ground level view back on that classroom bar side. So you're getting to peek up at those outdoor learning communities, and you're also getting to see how that color can be used or sprinkled throughout the school. It can be used as wayfinding, so the kids of a certain grade know where they're going. They know that they go to the green, or they know they go to the yellow or the blue. So it's a nice way of branding a specific grade and creating a sense of identity. If you can go to the next, please. And this is a close-up view of what some of those could look like. On these, you can imagine there could be rideable surfaces, so these truly become outdoor classrooms. So instead of having to only sit in the core classroom inside, I mean, there's an opportunity now where the whole class could potentially come out and do a class outdoors on a nice day, or smaller groups could come out and study on these flexible environments. So I think the goal is flexibility, a playful, dynamic space that really is inspiring for these kids. And not just the kids, but the teachers too, giving the flexibility to teach in or teach out. I think it just lends itself to a better learning environment. If you go to the next, please. And I believe this is the final exterior image we have, but that protected courtyard that we were talking about, this is what that could look like if you're standing in the bottom looking up. So you've got sky above, you get some of the color that we were talking about. At this point, some of this glass, we're still studying the right amount of glass to have, and we'll continue to monitor that with budget. But I think the idea is that you can see inside or outside, and we'll be strategic on which areas are solid to kind of reduce heat gain from the sun and things like that. And I think if you go to the next, that's the design presentation we had for today. So at this point, I think if there are any questions or comments or feedback, we'd love to hear. I guess I can pass this back over to you, Jacqueline.
Yes, thank you so much for the presentation. What an amazing new campus. How exciting for our urban park community. Again, if you're joining us, you joined us late, excuse me. If you're joining us on the Zoom call, you can simply make your comments or ask any questions in the chat room, or you can raise your hand and go off mute and ask any questions, provide any comments, etc. And if you're joining us on Facebook, we encourage you to make your comments and share your thoughts and ideas as comments in our Facebook Live. So that with that being said, thank you so much. We have a couple of comments, both very popular. And Ms. Peters, I'm sorry, so sorry, Ms. Peters, Executive Director, I didn't see you come in. If you would like to go off mute and share any comments and thoughts that you have at this time.
Good evening. Thank you. I just want to say that I'm really, 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 really excited about this now that I've seen some of the renderings. This is amazing. I think we know urban parks are a really great school for the community, and now it's going to be a beautiful school as well. And I love that y'all are able to keep part of the historic, parts from the Peacock Academy and those things. So just all around very cool.
Thank you. Principal Falcon, if you would care to make any comments this time, we see you put comments in the chat space, but if you want to go off, you can just share your thoughts this time.
And I've been shaking my head the entire time. What I did not know is I've been looking at these designs. Meeting is being recorded. Oh, sorry. I've been looking at these designs for a couple weeks now, and I pretty much have them memorized, but I never knew about the urban park name that you were bringing alive in the school, and that is amazing. I thought you were just following the survey and everybody wanting the the openness and the nature in and all of that, but the fact that you're actually turning it into an urban park is amazing, and I think that's something that will honor the history and the future of all of us. And I've already said, in case you don't know it, Petters, you're gonna have to drag me out by my hair to get me out of the school ever, because just to see this vision come true, and hopefully, Trustee Henry, we're also going to be a STEAM Academy. We submitted our application. We're crossing our fingers, but even if not, we don't get the OTI. We are going to be an urban park with a major STEAM focus with a school like this, and I'm so excited that we had so many community and kids and people that have put their input. And I'm going to say, if I had to pick the design, this is what I would pick. So thank you, community, students, and staff, because this is amazing. And our kids and our community is going to embrace this and just move forward. But I think it's going to be the most beautiful school in the United States. I'm just saying.
Fantastic. Not that you're biased at all with that, but but we do know that, and I want to compliment you guys during the planning process, how your campus involved the kids and your students and the student voice, because certainly this is their school, and how wonderful for them to be able to participate in the actual planning and the design, and to be able to see their thoughts and their things come to life. What a great opportunity. What a great learning opportunity that you guys provided for your kids. If there's anyone else out there on that would like to go off mute and share any comments or thoughts at this time, now's the time to do it. Or if you're shy, you can certainly share them in the chat space as well. We have a lot of thumbs up on our Facebook Live. So people are very excited about the design, about what they're seeing. So kudos, design team. Trustee Henry, your thoughts on this is one of your projects that you gave to the community. So your thoughts. I see you have your hand raised.
Oh, I was just applauding. I didn't have any additional comments. I want to echo the sentiments of what everyone was saying. Working together to create a design that honors the history of Urban Park, but also moves us forward in a positive way. I love the engagement with the kids and allowing them to have the input on what the campus looks like. So I'm thrilled. I don't know how many community members are on here, but thanks to the people that supported the bond and voted across the city for us to improve our schools across the city like this, giving our kids truly the facilities they deserve. We all know this, so I don't have anything else, just thankful.
Great. Well, we're not seeing a lot of comments coming in. I think that's a good thing. Everything we've seen is just a lot of thumbs up and excitement. So, Mr. Alfred, if you want to just talk about next steps here and where we're moving forward from this.
Yeah, sure. And great job, Lynn Partners, on this design. I think you captured the essence of the community, and they're going to be very proud of the school. So as Aaron mentioned, right now they're in what they call the schematic design phase. There's probably about 3 or 4 more design phases they have to go through before we bid it. We plan on being out of design phase toward the end of the year, and actually breaking ground maybe spring of next year, with a scheduled opening of fall of 2024 is what our current schedule shows. In between that time, we'll be meeting back and forth with the city. We're going to break into some small group with Ms. Falcone and her staff and really start programming the space. I mean, they're showing you the exterior and some of the parking circulation now, but now that we've got that kind of nailed down and can go forward, we're going to really focus on the inside of the building. We probably will not meet like this again, but we will do another presentation that we'll share with Ms. Falcone and kind of distribute on our website to kind of show you how we partner up the space. So I'm excited. The good thing about this campus too, you have enough land where we can actually build next to the campus while you guys occupy the old campus, and then move you guys in, and then turn the existing campus into our parking or playing field. So that's great news, and we're looking forward to going to the next step with you guys. Thank you.
And again, if you know someone who didn't get an opportunity to participate in tonight's meeting, of course, it is being shared on Facebook Live, so you can always go there and see the video, but the meeting's also being recorded. And you can keep up with information and track the progress of this and other Bond 2020 projects by going to our website at www.dallasisd.org/Bond 2020. If you go under the tabs there, you will see a tab that says In Design. And there you will find the progress and the information on this particular meeting. So the presentation and the recording of the meeting will be shared there tomorrow. So please feel free to share this with, with your family and your friends and staff members who were unable to attend tonight's meeting. With that being said, Principal Falcone, would you like to make any closing remarks?
Again, I'm just going to say thank you for the community that's here and all the input that we got in design team. If I had a dream vision, you've made it, and I'm glad that the community and the staff are on board with it. But just thank you, and I'm excited every day as more things come down. So thank you. And I agree with what Trustee Henry said. This is the school that our students and community deserve. So I'm excited that we're going to give it to them.
Okay. And again, I want to thank everyone for taking time out of your schedule to join us at tonight's meeting. And please keep track of this and other Dallas ISD bond projects at dallasisd.org/bond 2020. Thank you so much and have a wonderful evening, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bell.